Lee Joon-ho runs Seoul's most dangerous crime syndicate. He's survived 15 assassination attempts, but when his new housekeeper accidentally knocked over his whiskey glass and caught it midair with reflexes no maid should have, he realized his enemies had just sent someone who might actually succeed. It's 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday night in Gangnam. Joon-ho stands in his penthouse office on the 42nd floor of a building he owns through 7 shell companies. The city sprawls beneath him like a constellation of broken promises. He's reviewing security footage from this afternoon when he sees it. The new housekeeper, Amara Bennett, age 29, British-Nigerian passport, hired through the agency 3 days ago after his previous housekeeper quit without notice. Strange that. She'd worked for him for 6 years without complaint, then suddenly resigned via text message. On the screen, Amara moves through his living room with practiced efficiency. Dusting, straightening, collecting glasses. Nothing unusual. Until Joon-ho's cat, Chairman Meow, leaps onto the coffee table and knocks over a crystal tumbler. Amara's hand moves. Not quickly. Impossibly. The glass falls maybe 3 inches before her fingers close around it. She doesn't even look down. Her eyes stay fixed on the bookshelf she's dusting. The movement is so smooth, so automatic, it's clearly muscle memory. Joon-ho rewinds, watches again. Her reaction time is 0.3 seconds. Maybe less. That's not a housekeeper. That's someone with tactical training. He pulls up her employment file. The background check came back clean. Too clean. Now that he's looking properly. References from 3 different households in London. But when he cross-references the addresses, they're all in neighborhoods where his organization has no connections. No way to verify. Clever. His phone buzzes. His head of security, Min-seo. "Sir, we have a situation." "I'm aware," Joon-ho says quietly, eyes still on the frozen image of Amara's hand around that glass. "The Park faction?" "Most likely. Though I'm curious why they think a woman can do what 15 men couldn't. Should I eliminate her?" Joon-ho considers this. The smart move is yes. Clean, simple, no complications. But something stops him. Maybe it's the way she moves through his home like she belongs there. Maybe it's curiosity about who trained her. Maybe it's the fact that she's beautiful in a way that doesn't announce itself. All sharp intelligence behind careful eyes. "No," he says finally. "I want to see what she's planning first. Sir, double my personal security. Tell them to watch her, but don't engage unless she makes a move. And Min-seo, find out who she really is." He ends the call. Returns his attention to the screen. Amara has finished cleaning the living room and moved into the kitchen. She's reorganizing his spice cabinet. For some reason, this makes him smile. If she's here to kill him, she's certainly committed to the role. If you've ever been underestimated because of how you look, this story is for you. Subscribe right now because what happens next is going to blow your mind. Hit that like button if you believe everyone has secrets worth hiding. Let's go. Amara knows the exact moment Lee Joon-ho realizes she's not what she claims to be. It's Friday morning. She's preparing his breakfast, traditional Korean with perfectly plated banchan, when he enters the kitchen. Usually he's already gone by 6 a.m. But today he's here, watching her with eyes that miss nothing. "Good morning, Mr. Lee," she says in perfect Korean, her British accent barely detectable. "Your breakfast is almost ready." "You caught a falling glass yesterday," he says in English, testing her. "Very impressive reflexes for a housekeeper." Amara doesn't miss a beat. "I used to play netball competitively, sir. Goalkeeper position. You develop fast hands." It's a good lie. Plausible? Practiced? He moves closer. She can smell his cologne, something expensive, subtle, dangerous like the man himself. "Netball. In London?" "In Lagos, actually. Before my family moved to the UK. She sets his breakfast on the table. "I apologize if my reflexes startled you. Should I be more careful?" The emphasis on the last word is deliberate. A message. "I know you're testing me. I can play this game all day." Joon-ho sits, picks up his chopsticks. "Tell me about your previous employers." "The Harrington family in Kensington. Lovely people. 2 children, both at university now. Before that, the Okonkwo family in Mayfair." "Why did you leave?" "Mrs. Harrington developed Alzheimer's. The family decided to move her to a care facility. They no longer needed full-time household staff. She pours his coffee with steady hands. The agency said you valued discretion and professionalism. That's why I applied. Discretion. Joon-ho tastes the kimchi. Perfect. What do you know about my business, Miss Bennett? I know you own several companies, import-export primarily. I know you value your privacy. She meets his eyes directly. I know that what happens in this household stays in this household. That's why you pay triple the market rate. And you're comfortable with that? Not knowing the details? Mr. Lee, I've worked for a Saudi prince, a Russian oligarch's daughter, and a British MP who claimed his expenses were legitimate. Amara allows herself a small smile. I learned a long time ago that the less I know, the better I sleep. It's a perfect answer, exactly what a real housekeeper would say. But Joon-ho catches something in her eyes. A flicker of calculation, there and gone in an instant. She's good. Very good. You'll start full-time on Monday, he says, returning to his breakfast. I have a business dinner tonight. 8 guests? Can you manage? Of course, sir. Do you have any dietary restrictions I should know about? 2 of my guests don't eat pork. 1 is allergic to shellfish. He pauses. And Miss Bennett, if you ever feel uncomfortable with anything you see or hear in this house, you tell me immediately. Understood? The subtext is clear. I'm watching you. Make your move carefully. Amara bows slightly. Understood, sir. Will there be anything else? No, that will be all. She leaves the kitchen with perfect posture, unhurried steps, everything a trained housekeeper should be. But Joon-ho saw the tension in her shoulders, the way her eyes tracked the exits, the micro-expression that crossed her face when he mentioned tonight's dinner. 8 guests. She thinks it's her opportunity. He pulls out his phone, texts Minseo. Tonight, 8:30, she'll make her move. Have the team ready, but let her get close. I want to know exactly what she's capable of before we end this. The reply comes instantly. Yes, sir. Joon-ho finishes his breakfast, thinking about the woman who's supposed to kill him. She's elegant, intelligent, and lethal. Under different circumstances, she might have been exactly his type. What a waste. Amara Bennett isn't her real name. She was born Amara Okafor in Lagos, Nigeria. Raised in London after her father, a diplomat, was assassinated when she was 12. Recruited by MI6 at 21. Specialized in deep cover operations. 43 successful missions across 4 continents. And then Seoul. The mission that would either make her career or end it. Her target? Lee Joon-ho, 36 years old. Took over his father's organization at 25 and transformed it from a regional gang into an international crime syndicate. Suspected in 17 murders, though nothing proven. Runs weapons, information, and money laundering operations across Asia. But that's not why MI6 wants him. 3 months ago, British intelligence intercepted communications suggesting Joon-ho's organization had acquired something dangerous. Not drugs, not weapons, information. Data on British intelligence assets operating in East Asia. If that information reaches the wrong buyers, 15 agents die. Maybe more. Amara's mission is simple. Get close, confirm he has the data, retrieve or destroy it, and get out. Killing him is optional, only if absolutely necessary. She's been preparing for 3 months. Learning his routines, studying his security. When his previous housekeeper resigned, it was because Amara's team made her an offer she couldn't refuse. £500,000 and a new identity in New Zealand. Now Amara is inside. And tonight, during the dinner party, while Joon-ho is distracted with guests, she'll access his private office. She has 45 minutes, maybe less. The data should be on his personal server, encrypted but accessible with the MI6 tools loaded onto the flash drive hidden in her shoe. Simple, clean, professional. Except nothing about Lee Joon-ho is simple. That morning, when he tested her about the glass, she saw something in his eyes. Not suspicion, recognition. He knows she's dangerous. He just doesn't know how dangerous or why. Which means he's watching her. Waiting. Amara finishes preparing for tonight's dinner. 8 guests, he said. She's researched them all. 6 men, 2 women, all connected to Joon-ho's organization in various capacities. The dinner is a front. They're actually finalizing a deal to move cryptocurrency through Seoul's financial district. But that's not her concern. Her concern is the 45-minute window between the first course and dessert, when Joon-ho traditionally steps away to take business calls. That's when she moves. Joon-ho sits in his office, watching security feeds from 8 different cameras. His guest won't arrive for another 3 hours, but he's already planned every detail of tonight. Min-seo stands beside him, tablet in hand. We have her full background, sir. Or at least the one she wants us to find. Tell me. Amara Bennett, born in Lagos, raised in London. Father was a minor diplomat, killed in a car accident when she was 12. Mother still alive, lives in Peckham. She has a younger brother studying at Cambridge. Min-seo swipes through files. Financial records show sporadic employment in domestic service for the past 8 years. Tax records confirm. References check out, though we can't get personal confirmation from previous employers. Because they're fake, Joon-ho says quietly. Most likely. We're running deeper checks, but whoever built her legend did good work. If you hadn't noticed the reflexes, we might have never questioned it. She's government. Has to be. Joon-ho zooms in on a camera feed showing Amara in the kitchen, arranging flowers for tonight's table. Private contractors don't get legends this clean. MI6 probably, maybe CIA, but I doubt it. They're not subtle enough. Why would British intelligence target you? The park data. Joon-ho leans back, fingers steepled. They know I have it. They want it back before I sell it. 3 months ago, Joon-ho's organization intercepted a package meant for the Park faction, his primary rival. Inside was a hard drive containing encrypted files. It took his tech team 6 weeks to crack the encryption. When they finally did, they found something extraordinary. Names, addresses, cover identities, financial records, everything on 15 British intelligence assets operating in South Korea, Japan, China, and Singapore. The Parks had acquired it from a corrupt MI6 analyst and planned to auction it to the highest bidder. But Joon-ho got to it first. He hasn't decided what to do with the information yet. Selling it would bring enormous profit but also enormous heat. Using it for leverage might be smarter. Or he could destroy it. Use the gesture as currency with Western intelligence agencies. But now this. A beautiful woman sent to steal it back. Or kill him trying. What do you want to do, sir? Joon-ho watches Amara on the screen. She moves with unconscious grace, everything about her suggesting competence and intelligence. Tonight, she'll try to access this office. Letter. Sir. Remove anything sensitive. Leave the decoy server active. I want to see what tools she uses, how she operates. Joon-ho stands, buttoning his suit jacket. And Min-seo. When she makes her move, don't stop her. Just watch. Record everything. And afterward? Afterward, we'll have a conversation. Miss Bennett and I. A slight smile crosses his face. I want to know who she really is. And I want her to know that I know. She might run. She won't. Not until she completes her mission. Joon-ho heads for the door. Professional pride. She thinks she can still win. By 8 p.m., Joon-ho's penthouse has transformed. Crystal chandeliers cast warm light over the dining table. The scent of Korean-French fusion cuisine fills the air. Amara moves between the kitchen and dining room with perfect precision, playing her role flawlessly. The guests arrive in pairs. Joon-ho greets them formally, the perfect host. They make small talk about business, politics, the weather. On the surface, it looks like any upscale dinner party in Gangnam. But Amara hears the subtext, the careful word choices, the way they discuss investments and portfolio adjustments. They're not talking about stocks. They're talking about moving $15 million in cryptocurrency through shell companies over the next 3 months. She serves the first course, Wagyu beef tartare with Korean pear and sesame oil. The guests compliment her presentation. Joon-ho thanks her in Korean, his voice perfectly neutral. But when their eyes meet, she sees the challenge there. I know what you're planning. Let's see if you're brave enough to try. By 9:15, the main course is served. Amara retreats to the kitchen, ostensibly to prepare dessert. But she's actually counting down. In 12 minutes, Joon-ho will excuse himself to take a business call. She's observed this pattern 3 times over the past week. He's compulsive about schedules. The guest conversation has turned louder, loosened by expensive wine. No one is paying attention to the help. Perfect. Amara checks her watch. 9:26. 1 minute to go. Right on schedule, Joon-ho stands, apologizes to his guests, and steps away from the table. She watches through the kitchen door as he moves down the hallway toward his office. But he doesn't go inside. Instead, he turns left, into the library. Amara's pulse quickens. That's not part of his routine. Is he testing her? Does he know? No time to second guess. This is her window. 45 minutes, probably less. She removes her shoe, retrieves the flash drive hidden in the sole, slips it into her pocket. Then she smooths her dress, checks that her expression is perfectly neutral, and walks calmly toward Joon-ho's office. The door is unlocked. That should be her first warning. Amara enters the office, closing the door silently behind her. The room is exactly as she's seen it on her reconnaissance photos. Mahogany desk, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul. Minimalist decor that screams power and control. And in the corner, a custom server setup hidden behind a false panel in the wall. She moves to the panel, running her fingers along the edge until she finds the release. It clicks open. The server hums quietly, lights blinking in sequence. Amara pulls out the flash drive. MI6's tech team assured her it would bypass any standard encryption in under 3 minutes. She inserts it into the port, and her phone vibrates with the confirmation. Connection established. Files transferring. 2 minutes. That's all she needs. She counts silently, every sense alert. The dinner party conversation is a low murmur through the walls. No footsteps approaching, no alarms. At 90 seconds, her phone vibrates again. Transfer complete. But something's wrong. The file size is too small. The MI6 data should be terabytes. This is barely 2 gigabytes. She pulls up the files on her phone, scanning quickly. And her blood goes cold. They're decoys. Fake intelligence reports with just enough real information to look legitimate at first glance, but nothing actionable. Nothing that would compromise actual operations. He knew. He's known all along. Looking for something specific? Amara spins. Joon-ho stands in the doorway, perfectly calm, hands in his pockets. Behind him, 2 security guards block the exit. She doesn't reach for a weapon. No point. She's been caught. Mr. Lee, she says, voice steady. I can explain. Can you? He steps into the office, and the guards close the door behind him. Please. I'm curious what explanation justifies breaking into your employer's private office. Amara calculates her options. Running won't work. They're 42 floors up, and security has already locked down the elevators. Fighting would be stupid. She's outnumbered, and he clearly expected this, which leaves talking. My name is Amara Okafor, she says, deciding on honesty. Or partial honesty. I'm a private investigator hired by the Park family to confirm you have the intelligence data you stole from them 3 months ago. It's a good pivot. Makes her an enemy of his enemy. Explains her skills without admitting government affiliation. Joon-ho studies her with those dark, unreadable eyes. The Parks hired a British-Nigerian private investigator? They hire whoever gets results. She removes the flash drive, holds it up. You gave me decoy files, which means the real data exists, and you know exactly what I'm looking for. So let's stop playing games. How much do you want for it? You think I'm motivated by money? Everyone's motivated by money, Mr. Lee. It's just a question of how much. He moves closer, and Amara forces herself not to step back. He's tall, imposing, and dangerously intelligent. Everything about him screams predator. The Parks didn't hire you, he says quietly. They don't use investigators. They use bullets. Your government, MI6, I'm guessing, sent to retrieve data on British assets before I sell it. His head tilts slightly. Am I close? Damn. He's good. Does it matter? Amara meets his gaze steadily. Whatever I am, we both know why I'm here. You have something that belongs to my employers. They want it back. And you were planning to just walk out with it? I was planning to copy it and leave quietly. No violence, no drama. You would have never known I was anything but your housekeeper. She pauses. You ruined that by being far more observant than you should be. Joon-ho actually smiles. You caught a falling glass in 0.3 seconds. What did you expect? I expected you to be too arrogant to notice the help. She slides the flash drive back into her pocket. Clearly, I underestimated you. Clearly. He moves to his desk, pours himself a whiskey. Doesn't offer her one. Here's what's going to happen, Miss Okafor. You're going to tell me everything. Who sent you, what your orders are, what your extraction plan is, and then we're going to negotiate. I don't negotiate with criminals. No? He takes a sip, watching her over the rim of his glass. Then I'll call the Parks right now and tell them British intelligence has been in my house for 3 days. They'll be fascinated to learn that MI6 is interested in the data. Might even push them to accelerate their own plans to acquire it. Amara's jaw tightens. That would start a war you can't win. Perhaps. But you'll be caught in the middle of it. He sets down his glass. Or, you can sit down, have a civilized conversation, and we find a solution that benefits us both. She stares at him, weighing her options. They're all terrible, but refusing to engage is worse than playing along. Slowly, Amara sits in the chair across from his desk. What do you want to know? Start with why they sent you, Joon-ho says, settling into his own chair. MI6 has resources. They could have sent a team to raid this place. Why a single agent playing housekeeper? Because you'd see a team coming, Amara answers honestly. Your security is too good. A frontal assault would fail, and we'd lose the data in the chaos. She pauses. I'm what we call a soft insertion. Low profile, high patience. Get close, earn trust, wait for the opening. How long were you prepared to wait? As long as it took. 3 months? 6 months? A year if necessary. Joon-ho's eyebrows rise slightly. You have that kind of patience? I've posed as a nanny for 18 months to get close to a target. I've worked as a translator for a Saudi prince for 2 years. Time isn't the issue, Mr. Lee. Results are. She leans forward slightly. And I would have gotten results if you hadn't caught that damn glass reflex. He actually laughs. It's a low, genuine sound that transforms his face. For a moment, he doesn't look like a crime lord. He looks human. Chairman Meow's fault, really, he says. My cat has terrible timing. Your cat is a menace. He grows on you. Joon-ho's expression turns serious again. The data. How much do you know about it? Names and identities of 15 British intelligence assets operating in East Asia, acquired by the Parks through a corrupt MI6 analyst. You intercepted it before they could auction it. Amara doesn't see any point in hiding what she knows. My orders are to retrieve or destroy it before it reaches hostile buyers. And me? What happens to me once you have it? Nothing. If you cooperate, MI6 isn't interested in you directly. You're collateral to the main issue. How diplomatic. Joon-ho studies her for a long moment. What if I told you I have no intention of selling that data? Amara blinks. I wouldn't believe you. Why not? Because you're a criminal. It's worth millions. Why wouldn't you sell it? Because I'm not stupid. He stands, walks to the window, hands clasped behind his back. Selling intelligence to hostile governments brings heat I don't need. NSA surveillance, Interpol investigations, asset seizures. The profit isn't worth the attention. Then why keep it? Leverage? He turns to face her. Someday, I might need a favor from British intelligence, or American intelligence, or any number of agencies who would be very grateful if that data never reached the market. He pauses. It's worth more as a card unplayed than as cash in hand. Amara processes this. It actually makes sense. A man as smart as Joon-ho wouldn't make a short-term play when he could hold a strategic asset indefinitely. So you're saying you'll return it? She asks carefully. I'm saying I'm open to negotiation. He returns to his desk. But I want something in exchange. What? Information. The Parks have been moving against my operations for 6 months. Someone's feeding them intelligence about my shipments, my routes, my security rotations. His eyes lock onto hers. I want to know who. I don't have that information. But your agency might. Joon-ho leans forward. Here's my offer. You arrange for MI6 to help me identify the leak in my organization. In exchange, I give you the data and guarantee it never reaches any hostile buyers. You want British intelligence to help you catch a traitor inside a criminal organization? Amara can't quite believe what she's hearing. That's insane. Is it? Your agency gets what they want. I get what I need. Everyone wins. Except the person you're hunting. They made their choice when they betrayed me. His voice goes cold. I take care of my people, Miss Okafor. But disloyalty is the one thing I don't forgive. Amara sits back, thinking. It's not her decision to make. She'd need to contact her handler, get authorization. But the logic is sound. A deal with Joon-ho eliminates the threat to British assets without bloodshed. I can present the offer, she says finally, but I can't guarantee they'll accept. Then present it persuasively. He stands. You have 48 hours. After that, I assume your answer is no, and I make alternative arrangements for the data. And me? What happens to me while we wait? Joon-ho's smile returns, dangerous and oddly charming. You continue being my housekeeper, of course. You're still the best one I've had in years. For 2 days, Amara lives in a strange limbo. She continues her duties as Joon-ho's housekeeper, cleaning, cooking, managing the household. But now there are no pretenses. He knows who she is. She knows he knows. And somehow, that makes everything more complicated. Your kimchi technique is excellent, Joon-ho comments at breakfast Saturday morning. Who taught you? YouTube, Amara admits, plating his meal. 3 weeks of practice before I took this assignment. Dedicated. He tastes the kimchi. But you added too much gochugaru. It's overpowering the fermentation. I'll adjust. Please do. I have standards. It's surreal. She's negotiating with her handler to arrange a deal with a crime lord while simultaneously receiving cooking critiques from said crime lord. Her handler, a man called Thompson, is not pleased. You were supposed to extract the data, Okafor, not make deals with the target. The alternative is a failed mission, she counters, pacing Joon-ho's guest room with her encrypted phone pressed to her ear. He's offering us exactly what we want. Clean resolution, no violence, no international incident. In exchange for us helping him commit murder. In exchange for us identifying a security leak. What he does with that information is his business. That's a very fine moral line you're walking. This whole job is a fine moral line, Thompson. Either we make the deal or we lose the data. Your choice. Silence on the other end. Then, I'll need to escalate this. Wait for my call. The call comes 8 hours later. Authorization granted. MI6 will provide intelligence support in exchange for the data and Joon-ho's guaranteed silence about British operations. When Amara tells him, Joon-ho simply nods. Practical people, your employers. I respect that. Don't mistake pragmatism for approval, she warns. They're only doing this because you left them no choice. That's the only reason anyone does anything, Miss Okafor. Because they have no choice. He hands her a USB drive. The data. Unencrypted, unedited. You can verify it. She takes it carefully, like it might explode. And your leak? My tech team is compiling everything we know. Should be ready by tonight. Once your people identify the traitor, our business is concluded. And then what happens to me? Joon-ho tilts his head, studying her with those dark, intelligent eyes. What do you want to happen? It's a dangerous question. The smart answer is, I leave. Forget this ever happened. Move on to the next assignment. But Amara finds herself saying, I don't know. The leak is identified within 48 hours. A mid-level operations manager named Choi Joon-ho. No relation to Joon-ho despite the shared name. He's been feeding information to the parks for 6 months in exchange for gambling debt forgiveness. What will you do to him? Amara asks. They're in Joon-ho's office. It's Sunday evening. Her assignment should be over. She should be preparing to leave. Instead, she's still here. That depends, Joon-ho says quietly, on whether you're planning to stay. Why would I stay? Because you're curious. Because this week has been the most interesting assignment you've had in years. Because despite everything, you don't actually want to leave. He moves closer, and Amara's breath catches. Am I wrong? She should say yes. Should tell him he's delusional. Should remember that he's a criminal, and she's an intelligence officer, and this can never work. But when he reaches out, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear in a gesture that's somehow both intimate and respectful, she doesn't pull away. You're insane, she whispers. Probably. His thumb traces her jawline. But I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since you caught that glass. A woman who moves like a shadow and thinks 3 steps ahead, who lies to my face with perfect sincerity and makes the best kimchi I've had outside my mother's kitchen. He pauses. I don't meet people like you in my world, Amara. Your world is violence and crime, and yours is lies and manipulation. We're not so different. We're nothing alike, aren't we? His hand drops, but he doesn't step back. You do questionable things for what you believe is a greater good. So do I. The only difference is who signs our paychecks. Amara wants to argue, wants to tell him that morality isn't relative, that there are clear lines between right and wrong. But she spent 10 years in intelligence. She knows exactly how blurry those lines are. This is a bad idea, she says finally. Probably the worst you've ever had. Joon-ho smiles, that dangerous, charming smile that makes her forget why she shouldn't trust him. But I'm asking anyway, stay. Not as my housekeeper, not as a spy. Just stay. See where this goes. My agency will reassign you eventually, but you have at least a few weeks before the next mission. Spend them here, with me. If you hate it, you leave. No obligations, no consequences. You're asking me to date a crime lord. I'm asking you to give us a chance. Everything else is details. It's insane. Completely, utterly insane. But Amara Okafor has spent a decade playing it safe, following orders, living other people's lives in service of her country. And for the first time, she wants something for herself. 1 month, she hears herself say. I'll stay for 1 month. If this doesn't work, it will work. Joon-ho's confidence is absolute, infuriating, and oddly reassuring. But 1 month is a start. He kisses her then, soft, careful, like she might break. But Amara is not the kind of woman who breaks. She kisses him back, hard and demanding, letting him know exactly what he's getting into. When they finally break apart, both breathing heavy, Joon-ho laughs. You're going to be trouble, aren't you? The worst trouble you've ever had, she promises. Good. He pulls her close again. I was getting bored anyway. If this story moved you, subscribe so you never miss another one. Like this video if you believe in second chances and impossible romances. And comment below. Would you stay or would you run? Tell me your honest answer. Because every great love story starts with a crazy choice. 3 months later, Amara Okafor submits her resignation to MI6. Thompson tries to talk her out of it. You're one of our best operators, Okafor. You can't throw that away for some criminal. I'm not throwing it away, she says calmly. I'm choosing something different, something mine. You'll regret this. Maybe, but it'll be my regret, not yours. She returns to Seoul, to the penthouse overlooking Gangnam, to the man who saw through her deception and decided to trust her anyway. Joon-ho is waiting in the kitchen when she arrives. He's cooking, actually cooking, something she's rarely seen him do. The smell of doenjang jjigae fills the apartment. You came back, he says, not turning from the stove. You doubted I would? You're a professional. Professionals don't usually choose chaos over stability. Now he turns, and the look in his eyes makes her heart stutter. But I hoped. Amara drops her bag, crosses to him, and kisses him like she's been holding her breath for 3 months and can finally breathe again. I'm choosing you, she says when they break apart. I'm choosing this, whatever this becomes. It becomes everything, Joon-ho promises. If you let it. 6 months after that, the Parks make their move. They come at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. 8 men, heavily armed, intending to kill Joon-ho and send a message to anyone who thinks they can steal from the Park organization. They don't expect the British-Nigerian woman in silk pajamas, who takes down 3 of them before they clear the bedroom door. They definitely don't expect her to be smiling while she does it. Amara, left side, Joon-ho calls out, firing twice from behind the overturned dresser. I see him. She drops, rolls, comes up with a gun she'd hidden under the mattress. 2 shots. Clean kills. That's 5. How many are left? 3 in the hallway. Minseo's team is handling the stairwell. I love it when you talk tactical to me. Joon-ho actually laughs, even as bullets tear through the doorframe. You're insane. You say that like it's a bad thing. The fight lasts 7 minutes. When it's over, all 8 attackers are dead or incapacitated. Joon-ho's security team has swept the building, and Amara stands in their destroyed bedroom, breathing hard, adrenaline singing through her veins. "This is my life now," she says, looking at the bullet holes in the wall. Late-night assassination attempts and ruined furniture. Joon-ho pulls her close, both of them still holding weapons, both covered in plaster dust and blood that isn't theirs. Having second thoughts? Not even one. She kisses him, fierce and claiming. "But we're redecorating. I hated that wallpaper anyway." 1 year later, they're standing on a rooftop in Busan, watching the sun rise over the ocean. The parks are finished, their organization dismantled after the assassination attempt. Joon-ho's position in Seoul's underworld is stronger than ever, and Amara has carved out her own space, not as his housekeeper, not as his bodyguard, but as his partner in every sense of the word. "I have something for you," Joon-ho says, pulling a small box from his jacket. Amara's heart stops. "Joon-ho, it's not what you think." "Not yet." He opens the box. Inside is a key. "I bought a house in Lagos, overlooking the water, private security, everything you'd need." She stares at the key, confused. "Why?" "Because you gave up everything for me. Your career, your country, your safety." His voice is serious, weighted with emotion. "I want you to have an escape route, always. If this life ever becomes too much, if I ever become too much, you have somewhere to go. Somewhere that's completely yours." Amara's throat tightens. In her old life, this would be weakness. Showing someone your exit strategy is tactical suicide. But this isn't weakness. It's trust. "I'm not going anywhere," she says, closing his hand around the box. "We're building this together. Whatever comes." "Whatever comes," he agrees. They stand there, watching the sun paint the sky in shades of orange and gold. A British spy and a Korean crime lord. The most impossible love story Seoul has ever seen. And somehow, against every odd, it works. 2 years later, Amara is pregnant. Joon-ho finds out when he walks into their bedroom and catches her holding a positive pregnancy test, looking absolutely terrified. "We can't bring a child into this life," she says immediately. "It's too dangerous, too unstable, too..." He kisses her, soft and slow and full of promises. "Then we change the life," he says simply. "I've been planning to go legitimate for months. The timing is perfect." "You're serious?" "I'm always serious about the things that matter." His hand settles on her still flat stomach. "And this matters more than anything." It takes 18 months, but Joon-ho does it. He systematically divests from every illegal operation, funnels his money into legitimate businesses, tech startups, real estate, renewable energy. The transition isn't easy. He makes enemies, loses allies who think he's gone soft. But when their daughter is born, a perfect mix of Amara's sharp features and Joon-ho's dark eyes, he holds her in his arms and knows every sacrifice was worth it. They name her Zara. Zara Lee Okafor. She's going to be trouble, Amara predicts, watching her husband coo at their week-old daughter. "Look at her genetics." "The best kind of trouble," Joon-ho agrees. 5 years after that, they're sitting in their Seoul home. The legitimate one. The safe one. The one where their daughter draws pictures and their son plays with blocks, and their lives are almost normal. Almost. Because Amara still keeps a go bag in the closet, and Joon-ho still has contacts in every dark corner of Asia. And sometimes, when old enemies resurface, they handle things the old way. But they always come home. To each other. To their children. To the life they chose over everything else. "Do you ever regret it?" Joon-ho asks one night, after the kids are asleep. "Giving up MI6? The missions? The clarity of purpose?" Amara thinks about the woman she was. The one who caught a falling glass and infiltrated a Mafia boss's home with nothing but training and determination. "I gave up clarity," she says slowly, "but I gained something better. I gained choice, agency, love." She looks at him, this dangerous man who somehow became her home. "I gained you. Best trade in history, he murmurs, pulling her close. Second best, she corrects. The best trade was when you decided not to kill me when you caught me in your office. I couldn't kill you. You made perfect kimchi. She hits him with a pillow. He catches it, laughing, and they collapse onto the couch like teenagers instead of former spies and crime lords with 2 children sleeping upstairs. This is their life now. Messy and complicated and perfect and theirs. And when their daughter asks, years later, how mommy and daddy met, they'll tell her a story about a falling glass, a suspicious boss, and a housekeeper who was much more than she seemed. They'll leave out the part about the assassination attempts and the stolen intelligence and the night they fought off 8 armed men in their bedroom. Some stories are better saved for when she's older. Much, much older. Real love doesn't happen when 2 perfect people meet under perfect circumstances. It happens when 2 complicated people see each other's darkness and choose to stay anyway. When you find someone who knows the worst version of you and loves you not despite it, but because they understand that your scars made you who you are, that's when you know you found home. Love isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about finding someone who inspires you to complete yourself.